Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, if you've been anywhere near the Eurosphere lately, you already know we are breaking down one of the most exciting, highly anticipated announcements to hit the global music scene in a very long time. The 71st Eurovision Song Contest in Bulgaria is going to look a little different. Why? Because after literally years of whispers, rumors, and massive fan campaigns, the True North, Strong and Free, is finally stepping onto the world's biggest live music stage. Today, we're going to explore exactly how Canada secured their spot for the 2027 contest, the incredible history that paved the way, and why this really isn't just a debut, it's a homecoming. We've got a ton of fascinating history to get through, so let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. To a casual viewer, Canada joining a European Song Contest might seem completely out of left field, right? But if you're a dedicated Eurovision fan, you already know the deep lore. The real question isn't whether Canada can compete at Eurovision. The question is, how many times have they already secretly conquered it? For decades, Canada has been an absolute powerhouse. They've essentially acted as a secret supplier of iconic divas and totally unforgettable performances for other nations. They've been woven into the very DNA of the contest way before they ever had their own flag on that scoreboard. Just look at this history. In 1986, Charisse Lawrence became the first Canadian to compete, bringing Luxembourg a very respectable third-place finish. And then, we have to talk about the legendary 1988 contest in Dublin. A year before her massive global breakthrough, Quebec's very own Celine Dion represented Switzerland and snagged their second-ever Eurovision victory by literally a single point. But the legacy didn't just stop in the 80s. Fast forward to 2001, Natasha St. Pierre takes France to fourth place with an absolute chart smash. And of course, we definitely can't forget 2023, when Lazara delivered a masterclass in disco diva energy with Évidemment for France. And honestly, that's not even mentioning artists like Laura Fabian or Katarzyna Duska. The Canadian talent pipeline has always been wide open. Which brings us to the massive, absolute blockbuster news that has completely shaken up the fandom. In 2027, that talent pipeline officially becomes a direct flight. Canada is debuting at the 71st Eurovision Song Contest in Bulgaria. Public broadcaster CBC/Radio Canada will be sending a homegrown entry to represent the nation totally on its own terms. They're diving straight into the high-stakes pressure of the semifinals, and it really marks a monumental shift in the modern era of the contest. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer magnitude of this milestone. As fans, we're all immediately drawing parallels between Canada's upcoming 2027 debut and Australia's legendary entry into the contest back in 2015 in Vienna. Canada is actually the first new country to join the competition since Australia. Both nations share this massive, super dedicated fan base that watched from afar for decades, and both really represent the continuing global expansion of the Eurovision brand. It's just such a rare, historic moment to see a non-European nation welcomed into the fold like this. Section 2. How did this happen? The technical path to the ESC stage. Because, look, as much as we fans might want to just will something into existence, there are strict broadcasting mechanics at play here. Let's trace the actual procedural journey that made the stream a reality. Step 1. CBC/Radio Canada actually has a really long-standing relationship with the EBU. They've been an associate member since way back in 1950. But as we know, associate membership doesn't just hand you a golden ticket to the contest. Step 2 was the real game changer. On June 25th, during the 96th General Assembly in Prague, a massive vote took place. Step 3, that vote officially elevated CBC/Radio Canada from an associate to a full EBU member. So to be clear, this wasn't a special exemption or a one-off invite. By achieving full membership, Step 4 was unlocked. CBC/Radio Canada became fully eligible to participate by right starting in 2027. To really grasp the institutional weight of this, we just need to look at the reaction from the top. Marie-Philippe Bouchard, the CEO of CBC/Radio Canada, said, "Our participation in the Eurovision Song Contest starting next year in Bulgaria will allow Canadian talent to be showcased on one of the most storied music stages in the world." She highlighted just how thrilling this is for fans who have watched for years, who finally get to see their own country up there. It is a massive, massive commitment by a public broadcaster that spans 6 different time zones.
Section 3. The power of Canadian Eurofans. Validating the True North.
Because, let's be real, while the broadcasters handled all the heavy paperwork, it was the undeniable, hardcore dedication of the Canadian fans that proved the country actually earned its spot. Just look at this metric, top 3. During the 70th contest in Vienna in 2026, Canada amazingly ranked in the top 3 nations for the Rest of the World vote. That category allows fans in non-participating countries to have a say, and Canadians showed up in droves, proving they are highly engaged and genuinely invested in the competition.
And this passion just keeps building across other metrics too. The data shows Canadians aren't just voting from their couches. They were actually among the major ticket buyers outside of Europe, traveling in exceptionally high numbers to Vienna for the 2026 contest. Think about that for a second, literally crossing the Atlantic just to experience the live shows. Plus, the contest has been a proven television draw over there, with national broadcasts airing in both 2019 and 2021. The audience is there, the passion is palpable, and the market is so clearly hungry for this.
Final section. Next stop, Bulgaria 2027, a global music exporter.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is it sparks the biggest question. Who are they going to send? Canada's reputation as a genre-defying music exporter is just insane. I mean, if they want pure pop perfection, they have artists in the vein of Carly Rae Jepsen or Shawn Mendes. If they want to send something avant-garde and alternative, they literally produce visionaries like Grimes and Arcade Fire. In hip-hop and R&B, they totally dominate the global charts with heavyweights like Drake and The Weeknd. And if they want to tap into country, well, they gave the world Shania Twain. The diversity of their musical output means their inaugural entry could be absolutely anything. CBC/Radio Canada hasn't yet unveiled exactly how the entry will be selected, whether they'll do an internal selection or a massive, hype-filled national final, but the sheer potential is sending all of us into a total frenzy of speculation.
And the best part? The Eurovision family is waiting with completely open arms. Martin Green, the EBU director of the contest, summarized the whole vibe beautifully. He said, "We look forward to seeing Canada bring its own voice, creativity, and energy to the Eurovision Song Contest stage in Bulgaria in 2027. He noted that while the contest was absolutely born in Europe, it continues to welcome the world. This isn't viewed as some outside invasion, right? It's the embrace of a nation that has left a lasting, iconic mark on audiences around the world time and time again."
So, as we look ahead to the 71st Eurovision Song Contest in Bulgaria, we are left with the ultimate, provocative question. The one that's going to absolutely dominate the conversation for the next year. Who will Canada send to secure their very first deuce points? Will they go with a massive, established global superstar, or will they introduce a fresh, emerging talent to the world? The speculation has officially begun. Thanks for joining me for this explainer on Canada's historic Eurovision debut, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to break down the biggest stories in music.